fantastic, thank you.
Thanks very much. Obviously, it's always great to come back to my home. This is my. A lot of people think, as I said before, I'm a Dr. Geordie, but I'm going to show you. If you can try and get to see these screens at the side, I'm going to take you through a bit of my life, and obviously we'll finish with a lot of questions that I hope you'll ask, and I've got here with regards to Newcastle in particular. But why do I love this area so much? This is my father. This is Joseph Keegan, and he was born in Hettonley Hole, down in Durham, and he wasn't a Mackem. No. But his brother Frank was, strangely enough, but he had a very misguided youth, his brother Frank. Hettonley Hole is quite famous for producing, obviously, Pop Robson, who played for both teams, but probably had his best years at Newcastle. Ralph Coates was born there. Bob Paisley was born in Hettonley Hall, and he's even got a tribute to him there. And that's what's left of the pit my father used to work in before we moved down to Doncaster, South Hetton Colliery. If you can see on that picture, when I came to Newcastle for the first time, a guy came up to me one day at the training ground at Benwell and said, "Is this guy any relation to you?" And he showed me this picture of the 1909 West Stanley pit disaster. I don't know if you can read it, but only 30 people got out alive, 169, including 10 and 11-year-old boys were down there. And my father used to tell me about his dad being a hero. As a kid, he said he rescued the pit pony. And I thought he was kidding, but actually, if you could read it, which you can't, it says he was a hero. So that's why. He used to talk to me about Hughie Gallagher. That was the one my father used to talk, had been born in 1905. And then he would talk about War Jackie. So even as a lad in Doncaster, I knew an awful lot about Newcastle United. He also would talk later on about Len White. And I'm looking at all these great centre forwards you've had. I'm just wondering, having looked at the history of Newcastle as I did when I came, so I've probably put up there the 6 top goal scorers Newcastle ever had. I've missed anybody out, I'm very sorry. Yeah. I should never have paid 50 for him. What a waste of money. But just thinking about the club and just putting things right, the older ones you say, oh, Hughie Gallagher, Jackie, whatever. Who do you think had the best goal scoring record? Out of the 6. Okay. Andy Cole, you said Len White. Les Ferdinand. No, Les didn't. No. Let's have a look. If we look at Hughie Gallagher and these people, I'm going to show you in a minute on this slide the top, and you can guess whichever way you want. But I got quite a surprise, I've got to be honest, when I put these on, because in 6th place would be Malcolm McDonald with a 1.96, because he played 187 games, he scored 95 goals. Next would be Alan, 404 games, 206 goals, which is 1.96, but it's slightly better than Malcolm's by like 0.1 of a thing. The next one would be Len White, who would be 4th best with 269 games, 153 goals. The next one after that would be War Jackie, who scored 200 goals in 350 games. Coley comes 2nd, but he only played 70 games. I couldn't believe he only played 70 games for Newcastle. But he got...
You sold him.
Yeah, you sold him. You sold him. You stood on the steps.
I sold him, yeah.
Aren't you all right?
And it was a good deal.
Yeah, what a big mistake that was. Let's carry on. It looks worse when you put it in numbers. But obviously, the best was this guy, 170 games, sorry, 174 games, and I think he got 134 goals. You'll have to look back at that. Okay, you may remember me. Yes. You may remember me because I could have saved your kids' lives. I've always been pretty snazzy. I've still got that jacket, to be honest with you. It's the first one.
I wonder if you've still got that jacket.
So enough of that. You may remember also.
Hey! Hey, fella!
In inspired a whole nation of cyclists. This is Sir Bradley Wiggins, that's Chris Froome, and this is Cavendish. Inspired them when I did this in Superstars.
And you fell
The guy
out.
said to me, Kevin, if you go like shit to the first corner, you won't believe where it'll take you. It took me to Northampton General Hospital. Never played it. Well, can you imagine someone like Gareth Bale now going and riding around a red shell running track on a bike that's got an half-inch wheel to try and win $300? $300 in those days was a lot of money. You may remember me splashing it all over. Great Henry Cooper. Who was the greatest sportsman I ever met? English one, definitely. Everything I felt about him before I met him, I wasn't disappointed. I also, because Mr. Blair had his constituency down near Wynyard, I was invited down to the Labour conference, and the first thing you learn if you were doing a photo shoot with a future Prime Minister, and there's two bulls, but one's got shit all over it. Yeah, you're going to get that one, okay? Yeah, what a big mistake that was. I was promoting him as well, but there you go. I've got a plane, you might have flown in my plane. One of the problems with endorsing things like this is you don't get any money, but it's a great privilege. But I was in Heathrow about 8 weeks ago with my wife, and this woman came up to me and said to me, "You want to sort that fucking plane of yours out?" Yeah, give me a bollocking in front of my wife saying, "We're in Malaga, 4.5 hours, fucking stuff." And I was trying to explain to her it wasn't actually my plane, you know, I couldn't have it. Also, you may have worn my football boots, the old Patrick. Have a look at football in a little bit of a serious way. If your club's on there, which I don't think it is because we're in Newcastle, but they've all gone bankrupt in the last 25 years, some of them 3 times. Portsmouth probably 6. It's not Harry's fault.
It's not Cardigan's fault either.
I'll tell you what, the fucking dog's got a lot to answer for. The court case, the dog's dead and left nothing to Harry apparently. Bank accounts all over Monaco, Isle of Man, Jersey, not a fucking penny for Harry. Let's have a look at what footballers are getting paid, because it's changed a lot. This is obviously Wayne Rooney. That's what he gets a day. A day. I mean, he's good, but that's for a day. Cameron, he gets that a year. Neither of them are worth it, in my opinion, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. If you were a Newcastle supporter and you sadly passed away 10 years ago, and then very fortunately got resurrected. When you died 10 years ago, you thought, well, at least the clubs in safe hands were sponsored by a bank. Nothing, safe as the Bank of England, You come back, imagine digging your knot, and he comes back, fucking what? But it's not all bad news, guys, because Wonga, if you buy your season ticket with Wonga, and it's 400 quid, and you pay it through them, you'll only pay about 46,800 quid at the end of the year for it. And then you had a player, didn't we? We had Papis Cisse, refused to wear the shirt because he was Muslim and it was against it. And then he got caught gambling, so he had to back down, remember? And he got fined £5,000 by the club, went through Wonga and ended up paying nearly £1.5 million. We've lost, sadly, or maybe not sadly in this area, but sadly this year, I want to talk about management a bit. Sunderland lost their manager very early on, and then poor old, he went to Crystal Palace, Holloway. The next one to go was Clarkey, West Brom. The next one to go this season was a man who I really liked, but I couldn't understand the fucking word he was saying. Then we lost AVB because the project stalled. And then it sort of moved to Cardiff Way in Wales because we lost Malky Mackay. And within a short space we lost the other Welsh manager. And then we lost our second one at Fulham. And then we lost poor old Chris Hughes.
Oh!
Tells you what your club's like when you get rid of guys like him.
Exactly!
And sadly, for most of us, but not for me, Manchester United lost their manager as well. I wish it had been the other one they had before him. But, so, I'm not bitter. I'm over it now. So what's the secret? What is the secret of football management? This is the question a lot of people ask me, and I've come up with this one, which I think is the best one I've heard, and it said, to keep the players who hate you away from the ones who haven't quite decided yet. And it's true, because, you know, when you think about it, in any your jobs, whenever you go in the office,